Halas Hall just got loud in the best possible way. Phones active, film rooms humming, and a clear-eyed conversation about value, fit, and timing as the clock races toward the trade deadline. Here's my promise to you before we hit the reveal. Today, I'm delivering the full picture on why Chicago is even entertaining a veteran quarterback addition. What role would make football sense inside Ben Johnson's system, how the money and draft pick math actually works, what the tape still says about Russell Wilson right now, and where this kind of move would push the trajectory of a roster built around youth, speed, and November toughness. Because when a decision impacts the most important position in the building, this channel owes you clarity, not noise. The setup matters. The market at quarterback is cold at the top but warm in the middle. The bow kind of bandwidth where a former star on a low base can move for a day 3 chip if there's a staff that wants experience behind a young starter, and you know exactly which profile we're talking about. Arm talent that still hits third-level landmarks, mobility that's no longer a primary weapon, and a contract that behaves. The Giants' room is layered, rookie upside at the top. Russell Wilson as the in-season bridge who started, sat, and kept working, and Jameis Winston waiting to step into the number 2 if New York decides to flip assets. So the phones are open and the price isn't the story, the plan is. Here's the Chicago plan, as I understand it from a football standpoint. Protect the build around our young core by insulating Sundays against the one scenario that can derail a playoff push, an untimely injury, or a multi-week absence at QB, while keeping the identity intact. Ben Johnson's offense is about structure that punishes hesitation, under-center play action, formation families that repeat with different tags, quick game answers that keep you on schedule, and a vertical menu you only call when the look is right. If you import a veteran, he cannot clog the pipe. He has to run the offense with the humility of a number 2 and the precision of a coach on the field. And the only reason we're talking about Wilson is because the contract fits that role, and the tape still shows enough pace and touch to hit deep posts, seams, and corner routes when your run game has already told the story. I'm not selling you nostalgia. I'm telling you what the numbers actually are. In 3 Giants starts this season, Wilson lived near 59% completions with a QBR in the mid-30s, which is backup territory, but the ball still left his hand with life to the 3rd level. And in a properly structured offense, that's a situational lever, not a weekly plan. The leverage. Here is financial and schematic. Base salary at $2 million means you're paying the prorated pennies for the rest of the year. Compensation likely in the conditional day 3 range, and 0 impact on the premium capital that Ryan Poles has lined up for April. So the question isn't, can we, but should we for this locker room, this calendar, this staff? I'll walk you straight through the assignment if the trigger is pulled. QB2 with full week starter habits. Red zone package that expands your under-center keepers without asking him to run. 2-minute manager who can find the boundary shot if the nickel cheats. And, quietly, the most valuable thing a room can buy in October. Tuesday to Saturday. Mentorship for a franchise quarterback who is already ascending. I can hear you at home. Does adding a name that big create noise? Or does it buy calm? Here's how you solve it inside the building. You define the role out loud on day 1. You make it about protecting the season, not threatening the starter. You make it about Tuesday protections and Thursday red zone timing. And you make it crystal that Sundays belong to the young franchise face unless injury forces your hand. This isn't 2015, Wilson hunting explosions outside structure. This is 2025. Wilson as a specialist who can still throw the moon ball when your play action sets it up. And when you're trying to win field position games in weather, there's value in a veteran who won't burn a timeout at 0.01 and who knows how to get you into the right run look against a loaded front. Let's talk Bears offense, because fit is everything. Johnson wants the ball out on time, wants the launch point to move just enough to stress edges, and wants to live in second and manageable. With a veteran number 2, the playbook doesn't change. The volume just narrows. Heavy on keepers where the read is clean, quick mirror concepts to punish press, dagger against single high when the safety steps forward, and shot calls only when the formation window is green. On 3rd and 4 to 6, he'd be your point guard. Take the flat, sit the hook, kill the blitz without a hero ball. And in 4-minute, when the wind is nasty and the opponent has one timeout left, he's the steady cadence that avoids the early snap and the false start. The cap sheet says you can do this without touching 2026 flexibility, which is why the discussion is real. Not because anyone here wants a quarterback controversy, but because the league punishes thin margins in December. Now let's be adults about the risk profile. Reduced mobility means fewer off-script miracles and more faith in protection. The QBR tells you the creation days are gone. And if your number 2 has to play for a month, you accept that the ceiling drops and the path to winning is defense. Run game and 2 explosives, not 5. But that's also where Chicago is built to survive. Our line has been sturdier in the A-gaps. Our run schemes have added counter tags that travel, and our defense turns fields short when the second level closes. Add a veteran who won't give the ball away and the roster can hold water. Here's where the timeline matters. The trade deadline hits Tuesday at 4 p.m. ET. The market is sorting itself, and New York isn't sitting on a haul. This would be a pragmatic swap that sends a conditional late pick tied to active game designations and snap thresholds, with the Giants sliding Winston up the card and moving forward with their rookie. The tape side says it's coherent. The money side says it's clean, and the roster side says it's about security, not sizzle. I'm going to pull you into the meeting room for 1 minute because I want you to feel how this gets presented to the Leadership Council. We protect the season. We protect the room. We protect the standard. Period. Starters keep their voice. The young quarterback keeps the huddle. The veteran earns his by helping us win Wednesdays and by being ready to land the plane on Sunday if asked. If the conversation sounds like that, you don't get drama. You get alignment. Before I flip the card and stamp my verdict, I want the community's read right here, mid-video, because this show is built with you. If the cost is a conditional day 3 and the role is true QB2, mentor during the week, red zone and 2-minute insurance on game day, are you in on Russell Wilson as a Chicago Bear now? Or do you ride the room as is and keep the pick for April? Tell me below how you'd structure the incentives on the conditional pick. Tell me whether you'd elevate the shot menu with him in uniform or keep it identical, and tell me if the psychological effect on the locker room is a plus or a risk. My professional conclusion is firm and optimistic because I judge moves by what they add when the weather turns. This is not the kind of transaction that changes who we are on Monday morning. It's the kind that prevents a season from wobbling on a Sunday afternoon in Week 14. I make the deal if the number stays in the low-rent range, I define the job in plain English, and I let a veteran help a young star keep the train on the tracks. While we stack wins by 1 possession, you hang banners by handling the boring problems before they become loud, and this, quietly, is one of those. If you want this kind of sober, fast, cap-aware breakdown every time Chicago even thinks about picking up the phone, you already know what to do. Like the video, subscribe to Bears News Fan Report, and turn on alerts so when the wire pops before Tuesday at 4, your phone lights up and you're 10 steps ahead of the rumor mill.